Crimson Desert is an upcoming single-player open-world action RPG developed by Pearl Abyss, the creators of Black Desert Online. Set for a late 2025 release on PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series, the game transports players to the war-torn continent of Pywel, a land rich in diverse biomes ranging from snow-capped mountains to sun-baked deserts. Crimson Desert follows the story of Kliff Macduff, the leader of the Greymane mercenaries. As he navigates the brutal and war-torn lands of Pywel, the game's narrative is deeply personal, focusing on Kliff's struggles, his past burdens, and the relationships he forges along the way. Setting: the land of Pywel. Pywel is a vast, diverse continent filled with warring factions, struggling kingdoms, and treacherous landscapes. It is a land where rulers exploit mercenaries for their own gain, and survival depends on strength, wit, and loyalty. The plot: Kliff, a battle-hardened mercenary, leads a ragtag band of warriors who fight not for glory, but for survival. He carries a mysterious and painful past, hinted to be filled with betrayal and loss. Throughout the game, he must make difficult choices that shape not only his fate, but also the future of his comrades. The main conflict revolves around the chaos engulfing Pywel. Kings, warlords, and powerful factions vie for control, and Kliff finds himself caught in the middle. He is hired for dangerous missions, takes on impossible odds, and must decide whether to remain a mercenary or carve out a new path for himself and his people. Themes and character development: survival and loyalty. Kliff and his mercenaries are bound by trust and shared hardship, but betrayal looms in every corner. Freedom versus duty. Kliff must choose between fighting for personal freedom or fulfilling obligations to others. Moral choices. Player decisions affect the morale and loyalty of the Greymanes, influencing the story's outcome. A living world. Beyond the main story, Pywel is alive with dynamic events, side quests, and hidden lore, adding depth to the world's history. From war-ravaged cities to mystical ruins, the game's story unfolds both through Kliff's journey and the land's secrets. Combat system and gameplay in Crimson Desert. Crimson Desert features a brutal, dynamic, and cinematic combat system inspired by games like God of War and Assassin's Creed. The game blends fast-paced melee action, strategic encounters, and interactive environments, making every battle feel immersive and intense. Combat system. 1. Melee combat, weighty and tactical. Hand-to-hand combat. Kliff can punch, kick, grapple, and counter enemies with wrestling-inspired moves. Weapon-based combat. Players wield swords, axes, maces, and more, each with unique attack styles and weight. Brutal executions. Finishing moves are visceral and cinematic, featuring bone-crunching animations. Climbing larger enemies. Kliff can scale massive foes, similar to Shadow of the Colossus, striking weak points. Second defensive play. Parrying and dodging. Perfect parries create openings for devastating counterattacks. Dodging and rolling help avoid lethal blows, adding a skill-based element to combat. Blocking mechanics vary based on the weapon. Some attacks must be dodged, not blocked. Third, ranged and environmental combat. Bows and crossbows. Long-range weapons allow stealthy kills and mid-combat variety. Thrown weapons, knives, spears, and explosive items can be used dynamically. Environmental interaction. Players can use objects in the world, like throwing barrels or kicking enemies off cliffs. Fourth, mounted combat and traversal. Kliff can fight on horseback, slashing enemies while galloping at full speed. Mounts can be used to charge into enemies and knock them down. Gameplay features. First, open-world exploration. Massive living world with diverse regions like snowy mountains, deserts, and dense forests. Seamless climbing, gliding, and swimming allow for deep vertical exploration. Mini-games and activities like fishing, arm wrestling, and hunting add realism. Second, dynamic world and AI reactions. NPCs react to player actions. Aggressive choices lead to more hostility. Day and night cycle with weather effects impacts visibility and movement. Emergent events such as ambushes, faction battles, and beast encounters make the world feel alive. 3. Morality and decision-making. Choices affect Kliff's reputation, allies, and faction standings. Decisions shape mercenary loyalty, influencing combat efficiency and story progression. 4. Multiplayer potential post-launch. Though Crimson Desert is primarily single-player, co-op raids and large-scale battles are hinted at for future multiplayer content. Final thoughts. Crimson Desert is shaping up to be a visceral, cinematic RPG with hard-hitting combat and deep exploration. Its mix of intense melee action, open-world traversal, and a reactive world makes it one of the most anticipated RPGs. The game world of Crimson Desert. The world of Crimson Desert is set in Pywel, a vast and war-torn continent filled with diverse landscapes, warring factions, and hidden secrets. The game blends historical realism with fantasy elements, creating a gritty yet immersive open-world experience. Regions and environments. Pywel is a living, breathing world with diverse biomes, each with unique challenges and inhabitants. 1. Snowy mountains and frozen wastelands. Treacherous blizzards and freezing conditions affect visibility and stamina. Hostile bandit groups and mystical creatures lurk in the harsh cold. Ancient ruins and forgotten caves hide powerful artifacts. 2. Arid deserts and barren plains. Scorching heat and sandstorms create harsh survival conditions. Nomadic factions battle over scarce resources. Hidden oases and underground tombs hold lost treasures. 3. Dense forests and swamplands. Thick vegetation allows for stealth and ambushes. Dangerous wildlife, such as wolves and bears, roam freely. Mysterious cults and rogue mercenaries operate in the shadows. 4. Bustling cities and medieval villages. Dynamic NPC interactions, markets, and taverns bring settlements to life. Some cities are under military rule, while others are lawless. Political intrigue and faction conflicts play out in real time. 5. Castles, strongholds, and battlefields. Epic sieges with large-scale battles unfold in real time. Fortresses controlled by different factions can be attacked or defended. Some castles hide dungeons and secret passages. World features and interactions. First, dynamic weather and time system. Rain, snow, and sandstorms impact visibility and movement. Day and night cycles affect NPC behavior, quests, and combat encounters. Second, interactive world and physics. Climbing, swimming, and gliding allow vertical exploration. Breaking objects, setting fires, and using the environment in combat adds immersion. Towns react to Kliff's actions, helping people earn trust, while crimes lead to bounties. 3. Random events and side activities. Bandit ambushes, merchant caravans, and wild animal attacks occur randomly. Activities like fishing, arm wrestling, gambling, and hunting make the world feel alive. Hidden dungeons, caves, and secret locations encourage exploration. Final thoughts. With its stunning visuals, immersive world, and engaging combat, Crimson Desert is poised to be one of the most anticipated RPGs. Whether you're drawn to its brutal action, rich lore, or expansive open world, the game promises a memorable and immersive adventure.